But now we have 4 tables open, and I will open a couple more to the outside. And let's see how things turn out today. Our bankroll, the shared crowd fund, is around 125 or 127. What was the actual number? So we have around 12 buy-ins or so. So definitely not the most optimal bankroll, but I don't think there's much merit in going to PLO5 right away. So let's start with PLO10 and let's see what happens. Table 3 seems kind of funny. Well, there's one empty seat. On table 2, we can limp with hand that can hit something. So I'm like, now we can flop the nuts. It's really hard to get 3 streets of value unless someone has the jack. So I'm forced to check. This is the problem when you limp with hands. It's so hard to get value when you hit something super strong. Now the HUD is not working. Now I hope someone has an ace, so we just bet for pot. We still have the nuts. No one has ace jack or no one has aces. Other things that I think I'm worse than average player. I'm trying to think something, but I just can't. Not any positive things that comes to my mind. Here we 3-bet. And of course on this board we make half a pot c-bet. Like, if he calls with any jack, any queen, kings, aces, or flush draw, our c-bet is still profitable. And as there aren't any straight draws, this c-bet is super profitable. Of course, if he calls or raises, then we are pretty beat. But he's going to fold more than enough. And this is thing where we can level ourselves thinking that, oh yeah, he's making that 250. This bet sizing is exactly the same that I have to teach people to use if they raise as a bluff, because it's a 50-50 bluff. But now if I shove and he shows me jack, then it looks pretty stupid. So unless I'm sure that he's making moves, I'm not going to continue here. And if I see that he raises often these boards with that bet sizing, then I'm going to adjust. And the ways to adjust is to check back the flop, prevent him from making that raise. And here we don't have any straight draws. Have to fold. Quite close actually, because we are 100 pips deep, only don't need that much. So if he raises those often, then I'm going to stack off with wider range. And I'm going to check back a lot of hands that I'm not happy to stack off. But he might have jack in his hand or even quads, and he's just trying to make a raise that I'm going to call with the aces. So you shouldn't overestimate your opponents. It's easy to underestimate opponents, but also you shouldn't overestimate, like thinking that, oh, that bet sizing, he knows it's a good spot to bluff, so he's bluffing. As in PLO10, 99% of the raises are genuine ones and honest ones. They raise because they like their hand. And that 1%, 1 out of 100 players actually make good bluffs. People can bet as bluff, but not many players raise as bluffs. That's quite rare. Here on table 2 we flop the nut flush draw and the cut shot, which means that we have definitely enough equity to call. But I don't want to bet and turn my hand into a bluff in a 5-way pot, because we don't have any made hand value coming up. And here, well, we just fold. If someone has ace, they are probably not folding anyway. But the turn call is quite easy. We have 12 outs to the nuts. Actually 11 outs to the nuts. 10 outs to the nuts, sorry. 10 outs to the nuts. So throw $1 in the pot of almost 5. It's definitely enough. Here we can see why. He calls with ace-7 on the river. The third call is yes, but on the river he calls with ace-7. Of course, this polarized guy, Australian guy, bet 170 in the pot of 5. So his bet size was really bad. If he's going to fold, he has to bet bigger. Because he has jacks. So when he bets, he wants all the weak aces to fold. And for that 170, the ace is not going to fold often, as we saw here. I think if he bets bigger, he's still going to call. Because he likes his hand. Table 1 I open, table 2 open from the button. On table 4 there's some chatting going on. Oh, I don't have the Twitch chat here. Forgot that. If someone can post a question into the chat or give me the link to the Twitch chat on Skype or something so I can open. Here, this loose image from Sweden actually donks for 50 cents. For some reason, I think that this is not a strong hand most of the time. He seems pretty ready, and he might understand that this is good board to bluff. But he often should have something, so I'm just going to fold. Here we can 4-bet aces, and now with SPR under 1, we just jump the flop and hope he doesn't have kings. And he doesn't have anything. 3-bet bet sizing, why so small? In position against regulars, I use slightly smaller bet sizing. 80 cents on PLO10. And yes, I use the same bet sizing with aces. Against bad players, I'm not going to balance the range with bet sizing. I 3-bet for value and I 3-bet full pot, but against reps. And I have no idea about this polarized player, so that's why I use the smaller bet sizing. Here I'm going to see bet. Oh, I have to answer my... Oh, he calls me, so he has something. So I'm going to just check and see if I hit my cut shot. And if he has ace, he's not going to fold. And 111... It's really hard to beat anything here, so I'm just folding. If he's bluffing, he wouldn't probably use that small bet sizing. But I'm really sorry, I have to answer one message with my phone, because it's quite important. Yeah, so it's done. You don't want to know what it's about. Here on table 4, I have 10 high flush draw, which really hurts the hand if it's going to be multi-way, so I'm just folding this hand actually. Table 2 we flop the nuts, but he doesn't call. Table 1 we have the rundown, quite easy to play. I'm not sure what she's waiting for. Kind of strange. And quite easy we call, and if we flop something, we play along, and when we miss the board, we just fold. He checks, which is really strange, really suspicious to me. We met the straight in the end, actually. And he has ace jack 9 deuce. Wow. So he picks up opening there. When he checks, I wonder what he does if I bet. Because he's definitely not folding. So he's probably check calling, which creates problems because he has only 6 outs. But I don't know why he thought for so long. Kind of suspicious to me. Have to see if he does that more often. I'm going to change all the tables where he is to the outside. We have a delay for security reasons, but to be extra cautious if I think someone might be slow playing and hope to see my cards on the stream. And once again, wow. But yeah, he's thinking, he's probably playing a lot of tables. 4 tables only. But every decision takes a really long time. This table 1 is not a good one. I'm going to change it. On the outside table we had pocket queens. And here he raises us. Here we have pocket queens and he calls pre-flop, but I have no idea why he doesn't 3-bet us. And he calls the flop turn, I check. He checks behind on the third, and on the river I check, he bets. Of course I'm going to call. And he shouldn't have aces because he didn't 3-bet pre-flop. So the only hand is kings, but when he checks the turn it's quite suspicious, but he had double suited aces and he didn't 3-bet us. Wow. Actually, I think I called pre-flop. Yeah, I'm on the blind. Oh, he opened, I called. Oh, that changes. Didn't pay too much attention. I would have check raised the flop. Outcome would have been exactly the same. Four tables. And let me find. There's one. And then I'm going to be on the waiting list for a couple more. Oh, there's one table. What? Have I heard about Schaller A1T Marathon? What the heck is that? I have no idea what this means. So I don't have an opinion. Okay, now we have 7 tables open, so we should have action going on. And here, I'm not going to open from that position. Demo 3, I'm going to c-bet. If he folds anything, he's going to fold a lot of equity. And now when the board pairs, it's a good spot to barrel. He should fold a lot of his draws. And he does. But if we check the flop, then it's really hard to represent the full house on the turn. Which leads to the basic principle of, in a heads up pot, always c-bet the flop unless you have a really good reason of not to. Table 4 might die. Luckily, the 2 people left are super fishy. So I'm going to stick there. VVIP 81 and 59. It's nice. And then we just wait to have a hand. Nice hand on table 4. Let's see how it turns out. We got a 3-bet from a guy who has opened only 2 hands so far. I'm going to fold. We have ace and a pair, which means that we just have to fold a ton of flops, and if the ace comes on the flop, then it's hard to know what to do. Whenever you have a 4-card rundown, like here, every time when you flop 2 pairs, you have opening 2, which is quite nice. And the flush completes. Now the question is, should we barrel or should we not? And I think that barreling is better than checking. Because if he has a weak ace, he's going to fold. And on this board, he's going to have a lot more than flush draws. And now when he shoves, yeah, he had the flush draw. But especially these call-happy players, on this board he's going to call with a lot of cut shots, straight draws, weak aces, all kinds of stuff, and he's going to fold a ton of those. But this time he had the flush. But often on those boards, when the flush comes, definitely barrel, and you will get a ton of folds. I haven't heard that one. Here we have a 3-bet from the same guy. 4-bet is definitely one option because we know he's 3-betting all kind of trashy hands. But I'm just going to call. Number 1, I'm going to barrel the turn. Great card to barrel, but when he calls, either he is really, really fishy, or he has actually quite strong hand. If he's fishy, he's going to check behind. And we actually win the pot, which is nice. I'm going to turn my hand into a bluff here. Should have a lot of folding equity when he checks. And if he calls, I'm going to barrel all the blank rivers, but now he just has it. He has the flush or full house almost always. So quite unlucky. Here on table 4 we have the nuts. And we bet, hope the flush doesn't complete, and miracle happens, river is a blank. So we wait for a while and then we shove and hope he calls. And he folds, so he had 2 pairs. Cut shot. Oh, he's a hasty one. Playing 2 tables and tells people to hurry up. And this guy, he is not a good player, I can tell you that. After the way, what hands he 3-bets from out of position and how he played that hand. Because he doesn't get the odds for call on the turn if he had a flush draw or if he had a set. Well, with the set he might, but most often he doesn't. So he's making both of decisions, but he doesn't think how they affect the next street or the one after that. So he's sort of quite aggressive. Like when he 3-bets ace-jack suited and 9-deuce suited, which is actually a really crappy hand. When he 3-bets that, he doesn't really think much about his decisions. And he makes kind of level 1 or 2 decision, like he lives in the moment. He doesn't think how those decisions affect him later. He lives in the moment. Can I draw this in my mind? From PLO5 to... If he has 100 and he wants to make 10,000, well, of course it's possible, but you have to play a lot. Because it takes a lot of time to go from PLO5 to PLO50, PLO100, where you have to be in order to make 10,000. And even in PLO50, you have to play a lot. You still have to play many hours and do. If he plays 100 and start PLO5 and he has this 20 buy-in bankroll, then he needs first to make 2,000 to play PLO100 and hope the variance doesn't strike him. But yeah, it's possible. You just have to play a lot. Really strange thing happening here. We had kings and this guy opened, he limped. This Greece guy actually limps. Open, call, and he min 3-bets to 50 cents pre-flop. So he limps and mini 3-bets. and he 4-bets. And he has queen 9-9. Oh my god. And he wins a huge pot. Jesus Christ. Limp mini 3-bet with queen 9-9. Yeah, he's from Greece. That is amazing. Here this, whatever his name is, he calls the flop. So I'm giving him credit of having 7 in his hand. People are not making moves on those paired boards in PLO10. So every time when you bluff those boards and someone calls or raises, you should be giving up quite often. And just trust that it's profitable in the long run. Sometimes you have sessions where every paired board someone raises you. And it might be frustrating, but often when people, like there he calls the flop and bets the turn, people are not just making that kind of loads on PLO10. Here we have a cut shot. Wow. Not a single C-bet so far. And he raises, yeah. Seems to be flying back at us all the time. I'm actually going to change that table. I have a funny feeling about that guy. So let's see if he still keeps thinking for that long. And I opened this table with the Greece super player. On the outside table, the table we just closed, we make a 3-bet, he 4-bets, we call with rundown and don't hit the board. So we have actually lost some pots where we have made the correct play, but just haven't hit the board, or the opponent has hit the board. With pocket tens, we see the flop. On the outside table we made a hero call. I'm going to show it to you in a while. Here this, oh, you don't see the table. Oh, here it is. So what comes that we 3-bet he calls. and we make half a pot c-bet, and he calls. On the turn we make half a pot c-bet, and he shoves. And of course, this is quite standard fold. But well, I don't have his stats now in here. But he's really aggressive. And he doesn't open. I think he's... Oh, here it is. He's 41.26. He was 41.35 or something earlier. 3-bet and open up. We have to call. And we missed the board. So he was aggressive, and I don't think he has a lot of threes in his range. So what I'm worried here is pocket nines. But for his timing, and I think, well, he shouldn't raise, but for some reason, I had a feeling that this raise might be a bluff. Because he knows this kind of board doesn't hit my 3-bet range at all. Now I should never have a strong hand here. I don't have pocket nines except double paired hands. So he can raise this a lot with the bluff. And if you look at this hand in a vacuum, this looks like a pretty clear fold. But for some reason my intuition said that this could be a bluff. Which is the reason why I made the call. I trust my instinct. Here, aggressive player check raises the turn, which is really weird. We have the open ender. I'm going to call. And now we make two pairs, which makes things pretty interesting. And he pots. Now, if you think what hands he can pot here, one is 7-8, 6-7-8, might be, we have 1-6, he has 1-6. If he was bluffing us on the turn, ace-9 shouldn't be potting here. And he had absolutely nothing. So once again, when it doesn't make sense, it doesn't. Here I go with kings when we have this almost min 3-bet. And then we check raise on the flop to make things easy. And let's see what happens. Oh, he just calls. Now I hope the turn isn't the flush. But of course we're going to stack off on any turn, no matter what happens. And here on table 2, we make the straight with the cut shot. And he has the flush draw and aces. Wow. I really don't know why he doesn't shove the flop, because if he's going to call, he has to call any turn anyway. Unless he's 100% sure I have the set. But if he's 100% sure I have the set, he should be folding. So, it's kind of... But 30 and 6, he probably didn't think that much. This guy is pretty fishy. This guy is good customer. On table 1 we actually flopped the wrap, so I'm going to shove. I want him to fold all kinds of made hands like overpairs. It's really hard for him to stack off with like kings or queens. And if he happens to have kings, queens, I have a huge equity here with the wrap. And he folds, which is nice. Animecha made, well, not to 10,000, I can't remember what the actual amount was, but he made the same kind of project in Sit and Crows. And as always, you are free to comment about our hands, and you should be commenting our hands. Just remember that as we have the delay, always say the table number, 1, 2 on the top, 3, 4 on the bottom, and what was my hand. Because now when we actually have a working replayer that we didn't have on microgaming, I can find the hand here when you say what was my hand, and then we can go through the hands. Top 2, I'm just going to put it. Yeah, sometimes I'm going to value bet the turn. And 9 doesn't change much. Of course, well, he had ace queen, so he had me on the turn anyway. But yeah, he calls the flop with just an overpair without any draws. And all of his 2-pair outs complete the straight, so his flop call was sort of bad. This is the one who, in the chat, was mocking others. So as always, the one who mocks others is probably the biggest fish himself. So remember that when you start to call people in the chat. Yeah, it's 50 to 5,000, so 100 to 10,000 is the same. 100 times more. Yeah, often when it doesn't make sense and you make a hero call, remember that, well, of course in Hold'em when you can overshove, you have to be right quite often. But in PLO, when the pot is the biggest possible bet, you don't have to be right always. If you want to call a pot size bet, you have to be right 1 out of 3 times. So if the opponent is bluffing half of the time and value betting half of the time, then it's a clear call. Wow. That's one way to play AC from big blind. Call my pre-flop open from the small blind and then check flop, check turn, check river. On the outside table we open, we can 3-bet from 50 and 0, and we miss the board, so just fold. Don't get too creative. On table 2 I'm going to open over the limper. Definitely a strong hand. And we flop nothing. And we have 2 calling stations behind us. So I'm just going to check fold here. And let's see if we can pick up something. Like Jack of Diamonds would be a quite nice turn. And now we keep waiting. If you have any topics in your mind that you want to hear me talk about or you want to discuss about, feel free to post them. Or if you are watching through the Twitch, just say it in the Twitch chat. I hope someone is watching me. I don't have it open here. So as we sometimes just have to wait for the hands, there's good time to talk about various topics. On table 3, we have the cut shot. And when they check, I think it's a good spot to just try to steal the pot. Here we flop top 2 against min 3-bet. I'm going to stack off. And if he has aces with clubs draw, then we are flipping. And he has all kind of things with the draws. And he makes the flush. Ace, king, jack, yeah. We won 41 on the flop, so this time it would be better if he actually had the aces with the flush draw. Now he had the straight draws and everything, so. Bit of unlucky, especially when we are 170 BPs deep. Wow. Some strange shit going on. Here's an opponent that has 3-bet me earlier. So now when he 3-bets, I decided to make a 4-bet. I have a lot of high card value, and I have the ace blocker, which is important. he shouldn't have aces that much. And when he just chops over my 4-bet, yeah, then we stack off and he had pocket jacks, which is quite strange. Not sure why he shoves pocket jacks pre-flop. Here the turn completes the flush and the draws and everything, so if he doesn't have a draw, he probably has the ace in his hand. And he's calling station, so he's not folding that ace. So I'm just going to give up. Here we have a double cut shot. I'm going to call once. And we don't make the straight. Yeah, and he is quite call happy too. I'm not going to bluff him. And pair of 7s is good. Wow. Ace 3. Against him, I'm going to barrel the turn. And he just folds. On the outside table versus the same guy, he makes a small donk on the flop. When I have a set of queens, I'm going to raise. And I'm just going to pot it. Just to protect my hand, and he's probably going to call if he has a draw. And he does, and river is a good, it completes the flush and pairs the board. If he has a flush draw and flush now, he's probably not going to fold it. And he does, so he had some kind of straight draw, because he didn't even think about it. He's VPIP 70, so if he makes the flush, he's not insta-folding it when the board pairs. Here, I'm going to make the C bet. And here I folded bad queens, because the opener is kind of short. So we don't have much value for our sets if we hit one. Here the San Pedro calls the flop and donks the turn, which is really good line, even as a bluff, but he's 26 and 5. With pretty low aggression, so I don't think it's a bluff. So he's probably having a hand. Here we have a set, and someone raises, so he has the flush. We have to call 90 cents into $3 pot. And unless he pots the turn, we have to call the turn too. We have 25% equity versus sets. So to call this one, we need to win like $8 or something. And I have to call it $6.70. So if the board pairs and we can get $1.50, we make profit. Now here I'm going to check raise the flop. We have the jack and the flush draw. And once again, we hope he doesn't have aces with the flush, and he does, which means that we are in a really bad shape. At least we had half of the back, but we had only 31 on the flop, so that's the worst case scenario. $800 in day 12, so he has 18 days. Well, yeah. The thing is, thank you for the kind words from Opium. The thing is that, as Arni Metsä, when he did his challenge, like here, the first 1,000 is the hardest. Then when you have the 1,000, you can play bigger games, and you get the rest 9,000 almost a lot easier. Table 3 with 3-bet, and yeah, of course we see bet. Unless they have 8, it's hard to call. And they are not making, if they think I have aces, they are not going to make moves, because they shouldn't have any folding equity on against an average player with aces. So what we are worried is someone has pocket kings and they just don't want to fold in. And this table 3 died. I'm going to change it. Table 4 is pretty nice. 3 green customers on our left, on our right. Planning to donk river if board pairs with queens. Wow, what table it was. Can't beat this one. Because I cannot donk. Not sure what table it was. Do we have queens here? Yeah, this one. Of course, if the river pairs, if this is 5 of diamonds, I have to donk. Because if I check, he's not going to bet his flush. But on the other hand, if he has ace high flush, he's not going to fold it either. People just can't fold high flushes to 1 bet. I'm going to call, because this fish makes a min open. Of course, here we see a 3-bet. And now it kind of sucks that we called. But it's going to be such a big pot, and we have sort of nice position. Of course, we have to call it and see if we hit something. And we hit 2 pairs and open ender. I'm going to check, and I'm going to stack off versus this guy. Because I'm really worried about something like ace, ace, queen, jack, which is the one of the only hands that he can have that beat. Because he's not going to 3-bet here with rundown, or he shouldn't. But if they shove, then I have to fold. And let's see, hope he doesn't have queen jack. Oh, he has just ace ace king. And he makes runner 2 pairs. And he makes the gut shot. Bummer. 47 on the flop. So, got unlucky there. Not doing well on the flips. Here we flop the wrap. I'm going to bet it after he checks. We have 13 outs to the straight, and now we actually make the straight with the redraw. And he just folds. And then we have aces. When this sketchy calls me on the flop, he most often has queen or 7 or an overpair. So when the turn is a 7, there's not much value in betting anymore. He's not going to fold much. So when his range is just crushing us. Yeah, he had a queen. So we thank him for the free river. We had 20% to hit ace, king or a3. Oh, we made a min 3-bet out of position here. I was supposed to fold, but actually made a min 3-bet. Well, we flopped the middle pair and the cut shot. And he donks a bit, then we just fold. Fish and whale from Denmark. Pretty aggressive regular. Let's see what he had, if we can see. Well, he probably has the flush. And he folds, so didn't have much. Wow. This creme and Timmerstuken is just knocking each other, and this guy remembers, he has been talking about this Jack 695 for almost an hour so far. When we started the table he was knocking about it, and he still keeps, so they have issues. It's always funny. 68-7 player says other players idiots. I think they both should learn to play or just be quiet and enjoy the game. This one is a greenie. I'm going to 3-bet, and here I'm using full pot because I don't have to balance against this player. And if he shoves, well, now when he does, I'm actually going to call. Let's see if we hit something on the board, and the board is the most horrible possible. And not sure if we have any folding equity versus him. Probably not. And especially when he checks, it's that quick check really looks like a flush. And here he raises. Now if we want to call $1.10 with the flush draw, we need to win 5.5. After the call, it would be $3.50. So we need to win $2. We have the cut shot and the backdoor flush draw and the backdoor straight draw and position. So I'm happy to call here. And sometimes he might get scared. Like if he has two pairs and he checks and gives us the free river, exactly what happens here. So either he is slow playing a set, which is nice for us, or he has two pairs and he gets scared. So we get a free river, and we almost make the straight. But we don't. And I don't think he's ever folding two pairs here, so we just have to check behind and see what he has. And he had, wow. Check raise with that hand on this board. Wow. Well, let's make a note. Table 1, we called the 3-bet and we missed the board, so just fold. I'm going to 3-bet him. I don't think he's going to 4-bet me every time. And now when we make the hand, we don't want to bet too much. I want to induce him to raise weaker hands. And he just folds, wow. Didn't think that was possible. And let's open another one. But yeah, this grass bite. His check raise with that hand is... It's kind... I would like the check raise if he had nothing. But with that hand, if I shove, he almost have to call. And if I call, there he has 0 not outs on the turn. Which can be problematic, because whatever the turn is, he can't stack off, which happened there. On the turn he had a monster hand, he had to check, and on the river he checked, he missed all the value. I'm folding tri-queens to a 3-bet. Of course, this leads to a situation where people have folding equity with the 3-bet, but even if I fold 20% of the times to 3-bet, it doesn't really matter. They can exploit that. Like, if you know that someone is folding 10% to 3-bets, like when you 3-bet, they are only going to call you 90% of the times when they open. How could you adjust? You can't really widen your 3-bet range out of position. Or even in position. Yeah, I don't think he should fold it. I think what you can do there, you can call. There's a lot of turns that give him a lot of equity and then check raise the turn as a bluff. Or he can, because the problem is there's 10 on the board. If I have 10, he's drawing to queen jack or the flush, and the flush is queen high. Even if he hits the flush, he can't really value bet it. So I might call the flop, see the turn, and then check raise the turn, fold the turn. Because if the turn is something that doesn't help queen jack 9-9 and I barrel the turn, he can happily fold because he has nothing. And if I check, then I cap my range, he can bluff me on the river if he wants to. But when he check raises, it creates a situation where if I call or shove, it creates a ton of problems for him. Here is the reason why out of position sucks. I open button, he calls, and he flops top set and the flush draw. I see bet, and he just calls. Turn he checks, I check river, he bets. I'm going to call the river because I have the nut straight. And when I check the turn, he can bluff me. His river aggression is 86. So far, 6 out of 7 rivers he has been aggressive, so I have to call the river. But the thing is that he flops the super monster nuts, and he doesn't get value. And this is the reason why you shouldn't slow play out of position. In position you can slow play, because you get more value, but out of position he just... Now he gave my big wrap a free turn when he doesn't raise, and he gives me a free river. On the outside table we flop the set and lose to a runner straight. So we started nicely, but on the last half an hour we haven't really won any big pots. We have just lost every one of those. Let's hope the tide turns. Table 3, let's see what happens. Flop is horrible, but it's horrible for him too. So I'm going to make the c-bet, and of course if he raises we're going to fold. And he raises, so he has hit the board. But he's not going to run us over because that board hits quite many of our 3-bet hands anyway. And now we just wait. Opium is asking for double flop, or do you mean when we run it twice? It's just to reduce variance. So when you run it twice, the variance is less. Of course, it means that it's harder to get a big stack. So if for some reason you think you have an edge with a big stack, and there's a huge stack on the table, then it's the one situation where you might want to run it once. On table 3 I'm going to barrel the turn, and we have the ace and the double cut shot. And on the outside table, wow. He 3-bet us pre-flop, so it's nice to know that his 3-bet range has this. And he checks the flop, checks the turn, and calls us on the river. And that river call is pretty interesting because he has only a 10. Probably doesn't know much about Omaha, because that was Hold'em call. Here, German small stack. We have cut shot, overpair, high flush draw. I'm going to stack off here. And he has set of jacks. And we make a set of queens. A set of kings, and we make the flush. We make everything. 43 on the flop. Yeah, too bad he was short stack. Here, someone calls us on the flop, so... Actually, we make 2 pairs, so if he had 2 pairs, we now beat him, which is nice. But he's not going to bet 2 pairs there. And crash buys. I'm going to barrel the turn when I actually hit something. He shouldn't have a lot of strong hands. If he has some kind of king, we have a lot of equity. And if he has just flush draw, he should fold it. And he raised us, wow. He's annoying little bucker. Because he's so damn aggressive, but... Oh, I just have to fold. Yeah. It would be a lot nicer to be in position against him, because we know he can raise with all kind of trashy hands, so now we are sitting in some of the worst tables. I'm going to open one to here. I'm going to call with aces. Where did one of my tables go? Oh, I have only 5. Here I'm going to bet when the flush completes. Got a huge folding equity. And he check raises. Oh dear. He's so aggressive. Could he have? Doesn't sound like he has the full house. And he doesn't. So he was just bluffing, but he's damn aggressive. In macro image, you do only one board. Why it's better? It doesn't change your expected value or your win rate. So why it would be better to deal just one board? The before is not that good one. There's one shorty. And there are a couple of real knitters. And our target player is just on the other side, and he is sort of aggressive one. So I'm going to change this. There's a regular nitty shorty. So I'm going to change all the bad tables. And table 3. Not sure about that one, but we have plenty of options. Steven is asking, why did I just call? The problem is that opponent is really aggressive one. And if I 3-bet, he's going to put me on aces, but he's not going to 4-bet. He's not going to stack off 3-flop with a light hand. So if I just call, it creates problems on the flop. And when he is really aggressive, when I just call, like on the paired board like that one, we get a lot of value from bluff catching. So I give him an opportunity to be aggressive one. The 3-betting aces has the problem that everyone puts you on aces. Even if they know you're 3-betting with wider range on the flop, they often think their situations against the aces. Here, I'm going to check back. And see if the turn helps me at all. And when he pots, I'm just going to fold, because I don't want to bet and get raised. Of course, he hasn't raised much. But the idea is that if I hit the flush, I might get value from him. And here we have top pair and open ender. Of course, we're going to stack off, and he has pair and flush draw, and we make the straight, and we win the pot. Here I'm going to barrel the turn. Once again, calling station has a lot more than just the flush draw. I remember many years ago, I often, in those spots where I bet the flop, opponent calls, and turn completes the flush, I just check folded because I thought that, oh, he has a lot of flush draws in his range. And when he calls me and bets the turn, oh, he has the flush. Then I realized that, well, they have done a lot more in their range. Wow, this is strange. Calls the flop and pots the turn. Oh, I don't have much to call with. On the other table, here, this is quite frustrating. I bet the flop, I bet the turn, and then river he hits the ace. I had him on the turn, and he hits the ace and wins 70 BP pot. But yeah, calls me with the cut shot on the flop, and then calls on the paired turn. That's sort of frustrating when you do all the right things and opponent does all the wrong things and he wins a big pot. And now we get a 3-bet from shorty. I'm going to call, and if we hit something, we're going to stack off, like here, pair and flush draw. Just don't for a pot. And if he folds anything, it's good for us. And now we stack off, and he has just, oh, he has queen 3. Ace, queen 3, 9. Wow, he's gambling. Opium says that if you are better than the opponent, well, once again, it doesn't change your expected win rate. Your profits in the long run are the same. Your win rate is the same. It doesn't change your EV. It just reduces variance. Like, if you call on the turn all in with 20% equity, you're going to hit your hand 1 out of 5 times on average. No matter if you deal the river once, twice, 3 times, or 30 times. You're still going to hit average of 20% of the time. And here we open aces, and we create a big multi-way pot. And board is, wow, he donks for a pot and he calls, so we are out of the way. That is really strange donk, because the board is so dry. Unless he made it with a big wrap or something, but still better to check raise. And now we just wait that we're going to hit something. And here we get a 3-bet from the shorty. Yeah, he's gambling with any hand. And this guy always calls the flop and pots the turn. Next time when we have a hand, I'm going to stack off. I have a pair, and against his range we have enough equity. And they all call. And we actually make a full house. Nice. Now we just wait. And nothing happens. Table 1 is not a good one. There's so many regulars. Table 2, I'm going to keep table 4. Oh. Why would I play with 27-20/7 pretty regularish players when I can play with 61 and 5 players? So I'm going to change that one too. And just try to have as many green players as possible. And table 3 we had a lot of calls. And of course we have to call. And if we hit the set, we're just going to stack off. It doesn't increase their win rate. It increases their chance to win something back, but it doesn't change the win rate. If you go all in with 60% in the long run you will win 60% of the board, of the pot. So if you go all in 10,000 times with 60% equity, on average you're going to win 60%. And it doesn't matter how many times you run the board. Here on the new table 1, I'm going to check raise. This board, we have overpair and a flush draw, and it's hard to hit that board. Now, the only hand we are really worried about is aces with flush draw. And it's such a small portion of his range that against 2 pairs we are flipping, and if he has a set we have 11 outs. And when he calls he shouldn't have anything strong, so now we just pot. Maximize the folding equity. And he does fold. But also running it twice with 60% increase your chance of winning something too. Of course it decreases the chance to win whole pot. But yeah, it doesn't matter. So you don't win more, you don't lose more or less, no matter how many times you run the board. Like on the river, if there's 34 cards in the deck and you run the river 34 times, it doesn't change your win rate. Wow. This guy stacks off. Right. Over 100 pp's deep, he stacks off on the flop. Well, he had a cut shot, so yeah, it makes sense. I didn't see the cut shot there on the first time. I'm not going to give him an opportunity to bet the pot on the turn. So I bet myself and he folds, because I'm pretty sure that if I check, he's going to pot it. He has done it every time so far. On the outside table, 2 pairs and a cut shot against Jordy. We have to stack off. And let's see what he has. He has pocket kings, so we were running 18% on the flop. But he limped and we opened and he limp calls. So I don't think he has kings that often. But yeah. We're going to play 15 or 20 minutes or so, and let's see if we can turn the ship around, because so far we are not making profit. We were making, but after we lose quite many big pots, we are not making profit. Here I'm going to c-bet, and if he raises, he has some kind of draw or made hand, and he has a lot of equity against us. So one option here is to check back to and prevent him from making the check raise, because he's really aggressive one. But when we don't have a lot of outs on the turn, like if I had king, king, jack, jack with the flush draw, I would much rather check back and don't be check raised. And on the other table we open AC, c-bet and get raised. Now people are raising us on every pot. And it's sometimes frustrating when you have decent hands and people are just raising you every time when you are bluffing. But still remember that in PLO10 most of the raises are for value. Queens on table 2. Let's see what happens. I'm going to open them. And we do hit the set. When there's flush draw, I think I have to bet just bet value from the flush draw to pair type of hand. And when he doesn't raise, he shouldn't have the straight almost ever. Now we make the straight on the turn, and we have the flush draw and the set, so let's hope he was drawing a cut shot or something, and now we can free roll him. And if he calls, he probably has the spade draw. And we get it all in. And we make the full house. So it worked pretty well. Table 1, awesome situation. We have the trips and we have an aggressive guy on the hand, and I hope he checks. And I hope he check raises us with the semi-bluff or a bluff. Meh, no action. That sucks. Bing. I don't know if someone has asked something in the Twitch. So if someone is watching the Twitch chat, just post here if there aren't questions. I don't have the chat open this time. Ooh, nice hand on table 3. And I'm just marking every good customer as a green. And I'm opening full pot because we have a calling station here. And he's so aggressive that well, he hasn't raised ever, so okay. If he had higher raise percentage, I would check back here and then call any turn. But now I'm just going to value bet him on the turn. And he folded, which is nice. On table 4, I'm 3-betting to isolate. And it's an ace high board with mean donk. Looks like a flush draw. We do have the cut shot in case he calls, which can give us nice equity on the turn if we hit it. But yeah, when he mean donks, he probably never has a strong hand. This guy is really aggressive. Miss Ropey is watching on Twitch, so if you can check the chat if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer those. Two fishes on the hand, so I'm opening for pot. Normally I would use 3 BBs, but against these green players I don't need to balance my wider range. And he 3-bets us. He has 3-bet jacks. And it's not a pot size 3-bet. Thing is that if he has aces, we are not drawing quite dead if he doesn't have aces with the spades. And ace high I'm going to shove and hope he doesn't have an ace in his hand. And when he thinks it's good for us, we have the cut shot and middle pair and queens, but we don't really want him to call. And he shoves. And he has the flush draw. And we win the pot. Wow. We voted 40% on the flop versus his draw. Of course he has to stack off. He has the cut shot and the flush draw. I don't know why he was thinking for so long. Well, got lucky there. Oh, super aggressive. I'm not going to open because we have such an aggressive player here. Because against these super aggressive players, it's hard to win pots without hitting something or going to showdown. Oh, there's a min 3-bet. And now we run ourselves into problem. Oh, what a tempting spot. Because if they both have aces, we have enough equity to stack off. Well, let's take the flip. And they don't. Wow, he has queen jack, h7. Wow. It's one of those spots where you think that someone making a quick 4-bet actually has a really strong hand like aces. He doesn't. He has a really crappy hand. Let's see how much. We had only 22 pre-flop. Yeah. If they both have aces, then we have around 40%, which is plus EV in 3-way pot. These micros always surprise you. Interesting spot here against the aggressive player. I'm going to kind of hope the club doesn't come on the turn. And I'm going to check raise the river. If he has any kind of value hand, he's going to bet. And if he has air, he's going to bet. But he didn't have anything. But at least we got one bet out of him. Normally on these monotone boards, when you make the c-bet, it should work quite often, and it's going to work quite often, but today people have been raising us all the time. And probably it is because they have hit the flush so often, but on average they should be folding there a lot. Here on the outside we flop the overpair, flush draw and the straight draw, so I'm going to raise him as a semi-bluff. And he goes, and now he probably doesn't have a strong hand, so we shove here. And he's from keys. Sorry, he has aces with the flush draw. Wow. That's like, you think that when he just calls the flop, he shouldn't have a strong hand, and he has one of the hands that crosses you. Well, that's unlucky. I'm going to raise him. I just don't, he's so aggressive that I don't think he has a strong hand here often enough. Probably now he shoves. And he just calls. So when he bet don't calls, it looks like he has a 5 in his hand. So that plan didn't work. But he has been quite aggressive. So if he understands that it's a good board to donk as a bluff, then we can raise him, and he's just going to fold a lot. And if he donks with any kind of draw, then he has to fold a lot of those, because he doesn't want to go check raise or raise on the flop with the draw when the board is paired. He might be drawing dead. Well, actually, I don't want a beer, because when you have cold and you have stuff in your nose, the beer doesn't taste good. And here we get a donk. On the other table, I'm shoving kings pre-flop. The crease guy 3-bets, and he has 3-bet before, but he never had aces. And of course we're going to stack off and hope he doesn't have the flush, and he has 2 pairs. Well, we have some equity, and we actually made it. But yeah, wow. Guy is cold calling 3-bet with that kind of garbage in a multi-way pot. Wow. Nine, 8, 6, 3. Cold calls 3-bet out of position. He's from Switzerland. I'm going to close table 4. And let's change this one. I'm not going to open any more new tables, because we're going to end the session in just a few hands. Too bad we didn't have a winning session today. Better luck next time. Here I'm just going to check. And he pots the river. So just going to fold. We have a nice hand on table 4. Of course, over limpers we're going to raise. And against the shorty I'm stacking off. But if this guy shoves here, I'm going to fold. Because he can fold as a bluff. He has to beat this guy. Oh! What a mistake. Oh my god. I pressed the wrong button. Well, I sure hope he had a set. Because that sucks. Now that looks really stupid. Oh my god. Here, what happened is I 3-bet him. He's from Ecuador, but he's a really bad player. So I 3-bet him, I c-bet on the ace high board, and on the turn I get the set. And we don't have much behind, so yeah, it hits his calling range a lot. But if he has some kind of ace 8 or set of 8s or whatever, then it's good to shove. And if he has the flush, then we have the 25% equity. We just don't hit it this time. So another unlucky spot there. Mr. Opium, no it's not. For the last hour, or almost 1.5 hours, we haven't won much. And here I'm going to barrel the turn, make him fold. A lot of hands where he doesn't have the flush. And I'm just going to fold when he bets. Probably he had the flush. That small bet on the river is most often sort of not flush. He's afraid of the paired board, so to compensate his fear of me having full house, he bets smaller. But if I raise, he's going to call me anyway. I have seen that so often. And it's really a funny way to compensate. I would say -1 or 2 or 3 buy-ins is closer to the truth. But we will see in a few minutes. I'm just going to mark. He's probably a good customer, so that next time we can spot the greenies straight away. Here on the outside table we flop the set. And third comp is straight, but we have a king blocker and he has a lot of ace XXS hands, he has flush draws. So I definitely need to bet the turn. And now he just folds. Might have weak ace, doesn't want to fold the flop. But one might think that despite of losing money, not sure where our EV is. Yeah, we lost quite many flips, but then we have sucked out on a few big pots. Well, we have marked like 20 green players today, which is always nice. It means that in the future it's easier to find the juicy tables. Here I open premium hand, but this is PLO. Flop comes and it kills our hand. 0 not outs on the turn. In PLO, every hand pre-flop is a drawing hand. Even ace-ace king double suited, it's a drawing hand. You need to have a good flop, or your hand is just total paper. Let's 3-bet this shorty. And we have 4 overcards and the cut shot. So I'm c-betting, and if he shoves, we're going to stack off. But we should have a lot of folding equity. Table 4 I'm going to call because he's so aggressive. It means that if we hit something, it's easier to get really good value. And against these super aggressive guys, we don't need that strong of a hit to get good value. Like if he's super tight, then we need to hit stronger than him to stack him off. But versus these aggressive guys, they're going to put the money in with just a wide range that we don't need that strong hand. And then the small rundowns that we had that are going to make straights that are not the nut straights, we get more value for them than if he's a super tight one. Or a really, really passive one. And nothing happens, so I'm going to start the last orbits. Well, hello to your wife. If she doesn't play poker yet, maybe she should learn. The best thing that you can do with your wife is to teach him some PLO and then have PLO flips for all that. I just can't remember the word for the cleaning and dishes and the stuff that you do home. It's right in my tongue. The word is the... Is it course? I don't know. I'm going to type it here. I have to check it. No, can't find it. Oh, we have aces here. Oh, and we get a 3-bet. Woo! That's what you want to see when you have double-suited aces. No, it's just housework. No, there's a word for the housework. I know there is. And here, of course, we're going to stack off and he folds. But yeah, then you can do a PLO flip for all the work at home. Like who's going to vacuum clean the house, you can have a PLO flip. Who's going to do the dishes, you can have a PLO flip. Then you can complain on the forums that, oh, I have such a downswing. I've had to clean the house for the whole month. So let me open Poker Tracker. Wow. Now this is amazing. Yeah, we started at 7:30 p.m. 19:30 on Wednesdays. Haven't you read the forums? Well, I'm really surprised by the results, because I actually thought that we are running way over EV, running under EV, that the EV would go higher, but wow, that is just amazing. Well, look at yourself. Here's the graph for today. Here, and for the last hour or so, the EV goes just way down. Now, normally, if I had time, I would just watch the hands and see why is so, because I really had a thought that we lost the flips, and well, apparently it's not so. Of course, there was many spots where we made a barrel bet on the turn, opponent raised, or we raised opponent in a spot that is plus EV, but the opponent had a hand this time. There were a lot of spots where we put the money in, and then there were the spots where we bet flop, bet turn, and the opponent just made a bad call on the flop and turn, but hit the river. Check, he won. Those lines that are definitely plus EV in the long run today, they didn't realize. But wow, this looks bad. But that's PLO. You might play good poker and everything goes down and the other way around. But still, I had a feeling that it would be better in EV wise. Like here, we were pretty much never over zero in EV. Do we have any filters here? No. Because we had almost $40 on one table and we were, in my mind, making a lot of money. But here, minus 10 and plus 15, so 25, and we had $40 on one table, so it's really strange. And we had 25 on a couple of tables. I'm not sure if this makes sense, but yeah, $20 or so. So yeah, this is right, according to the cashier. So it doesn't lie, but that's strange. Well, that's the results. Let's hope that on the next week it turns out to be a better one. Remember that next Wednesday we're going to start at 7:30 p.m. So be here on time. And on Friday we have the Finnish PLO evening. You are welcome to watch, even if you don't understand Finnish. You can always watch the stream and so on. And if you were watching this on Twitch or you're watching this on YouTube and you are not a member of Poker Mania, just go to this address, pokerimania.com/forum, and join today so you can attend our awesome live chat. We need more talking on the chat. So that was for me. Now have a good night and see you on Friday or the next week. Bye bye.